Isn't it interesting when the memory doesn't hurt as much anymore? It's, I don't miss Steve any less. It's now been 16 months, 17 months. Sometimes I forget. It was like one time I said 17 months and it was 15 months. But who's counting? Obviously, I'm not. So, what I find very interesting is that grief is interesting of itself. Yet the journey through whatever having been loved is really, really a beautiful thing, and loving. And I found myself, I was going through the closet to come out here to put just something light on, and I saw this sweater. And this used to be Steve's favorite sweater, like so many years ago. I think he was still in his 40s when it was his favorite sweater. And he passed at, I think he was 74. Yeah, he was 74. Or I think he turned 74 after. Anyway, the point is, it was a long time ago. And I looked at the sweater and I just, because I've saved it for him, and then Lynette took it because she loved it. And then she just gave it back to me recently, and it was in the closet, and I looked at it and I started talking to him, and I said, babe, do you remember how very mucho you love this sweater? And because I would wear it, I would wear his clothes because he smelled so good. Like I just loved him, and I loved the way he smelled, and so I'd wear his clothes and like his shirts at night, his big t-shirts and stuff, and I'd wear this like after he would wear it. And anyway, I just started talking to him, and I said, do you remember just how very much you loved this sweater? And then I caught myself. And I mean, I obviously I know he's not with me, but I still sometimes have conversations, but this was out loud, and I used to have more conversations out loud. And I used to come home and say, hi, my baby, I'm home. And it felt so natural. And then there'd be like a pause, and I'd catch myself. Sometimes I did it just to stabilize myself. It was like just a second of normalcy of how it used to be. And anyway, so I'm talking to him, and then all of a sudden I have this feeling of like intense grief. And I thought, missing him, and I thought, and before that, I was talking to him just in my mind as I was pulling weeds before I came in to do the video. And I said, oh, the computer is really bright. Yeah, that's what I told him. The computer is really bright, babe. My notes. They're really bright. Not as bright as you. Anyway, I said, this is before the sweater, and I was just out with the dogs. It was just such a gorgeous evening. It's still a gorgeous evening, as you can see. I love having you be able to see the sunsets with me. A lot. It's like this a lot, but there's still the smoke from the fire. The fire's still burning like crazy. I think it's almost 100,000 acres at this point. And anyway, the wildfire. So I told him that it's like, I would never be the woman that I have come to be, had you not allowed me this time to find out who I am. And I really believe that. I really believe that we choose it all. And it was his exit strategy to leave when he did. And it was my choice to choose to be devastated, or, and just completely fall apart, or, have the identity of the widow, who's, just whatever that is. And I chose to really understand how to stabilize myself, which has evolved into into coming back home to self. Because when you're destabilized, we talk about it a lot, you constrict, go into the programs, because you go into survival mode. And and there's different levels of survival mode. It's but if you're destabilized, then you don't have full capacity to your brain, to your heart, to the fullness, to your intuition, because now you're constricted. And so as I said that, I was so grateful to him. And I guess because I was still in that mindset, and I come in to do the video, and I'm still trying to find sitters, because Lynette and I are going to see Greg Braden. I think it's his Pure Human. I don't think, I mean, he's got anyway, we're going to see Greg Braden on Saturday. And we're in the first 2 rows. So, tour is what I was going to say. And so, I was thinking about the puppies, trying to find someone to help us to watch them, because it's an all day. The doors open at 7 or 7:30, but we're in the front 2 rows. I paid extra so we could be in the front 2 rows. And so when I saw this sweater in the closet, and I was talking to him, and then I felt like I could just go into deep grief. Like I could literally just not do the video and not participate, in life. Like literally just shut down and be in grief. And instead I chose, and this was my microstability, I chose to celebrate Steve. And that's what I've done from the very beginning. I've chosen to live fully and to celebrate him, his choices, where he's at, wherever he's at, and to celebrate our life together, the 35 years of, I mean, this is a man that I love at first sight. Like, how many peeparoos have that opportunity, that happens, love at first sight? I don't know many. And it was love at first sight, like instant, absolute connection, attraction. And I was attracted to him. He was my everything. And I'm not romanticizing the relationship, by the way. We definitely had our issues and all of that, which was an experience. And we had the most amazing times, because we RV'd for many years, and we went all over the place and around the country, and just really enjoyed being out. And we were part of I'm still part. I was going to say we're still part, but I'm still part of, oops. Well, that didn't stop. My daughter was calling me, Lynette. And anyway, but I have it on Do Not Disturb. So back to the story, I would, we would go all over and have many, many adventures in the RV. And so and he just loved to drive. And so in that moment, and I'm looking at the sweater, and I think I'm going to wear it tonight for the video. I'm just going to put it on and just be in his embrace. And it's just, and it was, oof, I thought I was good. And I am. To spiral out, and like, this is perfectly normal. I'm so grateful that I loved, that I could feel all of this and move through it. This is something, I don't want to tap it down. It's not like I don't want to blubber on camera in the video, but I want to feel the love. I want to feel the grief. I want to feel those, so the issues don't get stuck in my tissues. I don't want the issues. I don't want any of that. I want to feel it, because if I can look at it, I can name it, I can feel it, and I can choose to see that I was so loved for 35 years, and so cherished and so supported. And I used to say that I wasn't supported that he supported me in every way except my business. And with him not here, it's like that man supported me in my business all the time. He was just like, "What, do you have a plan? Show me your plan." But he read every email and he told me, "Babe, you're such a good writer. Like, I enjoy your emails." He watched every video. He he would come out when I did videos, and but it wasn't what I wanted or thought I wanted. And that's beside the story, or beside the point for the story. So, um, but he did. And this is the thing with absence. You can actually see, because now you're with yourself, and you can see, and this is what I was saying, that, thanking him for allowing me to be able to actually, if he were with me, I wouldn't have the journey within. I wouldn't have what the framework that I have created, the stability spiral, because I lived it, and I wouldn't be able to share it for others who are going through it, anything. It's any change, but any change whatsoever. But grief is one that we don't know how to manage sometimes. And I really believe this, finding that stability and coming home to self, it doesn't mean that you don't grieve and you don't cherish those memories. But when the memories don't, like, they don't hurt so deeply, they don't destabilize you. They don't throw you off. I mean, they might throw you off, like I just had the moment, and I had the moment in the closet, and stuff with seeing the sweater and talking to him, and then choosing to celebrate him, and choosing to celebrate the love that, I don't know which is better, to have the big light or not. There's not like a huge, let me see if you can see any better oops, sorry for tipping you over. So I'll wrap this up with, just saying that I think that I was writing notes and thinking it's so that, maybe when you think about healing and growing and moving through, maybe it's not about reaching, I don't know, it's not about no longer loving someone, or reaching a day when you no longer love them, because you always, I think, when you love someone, you always have that love, but it transforms, it gets softer. It's not like it just like, sometimes I can't hear his voice, or I'll forget a word that he would say, or something that he would say before, and it's just like, it's, I think it was just thinking that maybe it's like loving him more now. Like, maybe the healing is when you love that person more than it hurts to think about them. And that's what happened in the closet. In the closet, outside of the closet, looking at the sweater, and I think that's exactly what happened. It was like, I could feel the wanting to just collapse into grief. And then I felt that choice. And I didn't say this is a stability moment, which I almost always do a bunch of times a day, but it was just soft. It was gentle. And it was just this choice to choose love over collapse. And it literally was. I mean, I did the stability spiral. I chose the internal operator from a different way. I didn't need to use it. It's starting to flow for me, and it really is choosing to not collapse into the programmed reactor. And in that moment, in the beginning, I had many programmed reactions. In the beginning, I had, but and I don't even know if that would be the programmed reactor with grief, because I mean, I'm learning this as I go. I have been, this is my life. This is my experience. I'm growing with you. We're growing together. This is not like, oh, I'm an expert. I know how to bring you back to yourself. I actually do know how to bring me back to myself, and I know how to do it, and I know how to do it for my clients, and I know how to give the framework, the stability spiral, how to do it, to have access, to stop the spiral and have access back to self, because I lived it and I'm living it, and I will continue to live it, because so long as I am here on planet Earth, I'm lifing, as are you. And so change, it is the one thing that is the constant, consistent, will always happen so long as you are on planet Earth and living, and that is change. That is it. Death, taxes, what people used to always say, some people think differently about death. I know I do. And taxes, some, people decide what they're going to do about taxes, and so my point is, I don't think those are, I don't think those are the hard things. You're going to die and you're going to pay taxes. I don't think those are, those are the things that I grew up hearing. That's the program, so it just comes out for me. I think it's change, and so anyway, I just think it's, healing is not forgetting, it's not moving on. I really think that it's softer than that. It's not pretending. It's I think it's just remembering and celebrating and choosing to be grateful, choosing to move inward, choosing to be grateful for the opportunity to really move into self. And this is, it could be absolutely anything. What did I write here before? I was thinking about recognition. So you think about, you see an old picture and you have like, and whatever, of whoever, whatever, and it brings emotions, and or a coffee mug or a favorite shirt. You hear a song, or you see somebody's handwriting, and then you have these emotions, and your heart drops. Something like, you feel like, if it brings loss or something, it was like the sweater, like that was what happened. Like, my heart dropped for a moment. I'm talking to him, and then all of a sudden it's just like, he's not here, and I had a sense of loneliness, and I literally felt like I could just collapse in that moment. I could have just started crying, and went full into grief, and it would have been fine had I chosen that. There would have been nothing wrong with that. But that's not how I choose. That's not how I chose, and that's not how I choose. I chose to move in a direction that would benefit me, in a different way, that I could actually celebrate. It was softer, it was gentler, kinder to self, and full of love, and full of healing, and recognizing and seeing it for something different. And that is my stability moment for today, for day 95. I kind of rambled because it's so fresh, and my stability moment. I had actually 3 others for today, and then that happened, and I thought, no, I'm just, because so many of us are going through so many things, and I mean, we're lifing, and that's just how it goes. So you can do, be, change, have, create, become absolutely anything. You can do it. I believe in you. And as always, shining my light with the light from the computer screen. No, shining my real inner light to brighten yours. I love you so mucho. We'll see you tomorrow for day 96. Thanks for being with me. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great evening. Ciao.